A beggar lived at a railway station in a certain city. He made ends meet by begging from passengers on the trains that passed by. One day, while he was begging, he saw a tall man in a suit and boots. He thought, "This man looks very rich. He'll surely pay me well if I beg from him." He began begging. Seeing the beggar, the tall man said, "You're always begging. Do you ever give anything to anyone?" The beggar replied, "Sir, I'm a beggar, always begging. I don't have the means to give anything to anyone." The tall man said, "If you can't give anything to anyone, you have no right to beg. I'm a businessman and I believe in transactions. If you have something to give, only then can I give you something in return." After saying this, the tall man boarded the train and left. The beggar began to think about what the tall man had said. What the tall man had said touched his heart. He began to think, perhaps I do get much money in alms because I do give anything to anyone. I am unable to give anything to anyone, but I am a beggar and I am not worthy of giving anything to anyone. But for how long will I continue to beg without giving anything in return? After much thought, the beggar decided that he would definitely give something to anyone who gave him alms. But now the question lingered in his mind. Since he himself is a beggar, what could he give to others in exchange for alms? 2 days passed while he thought about this, but he had no answer to his question. On the third day, while sitting near the station, he noticed some flowers blooming on the plants around the station. He thought, why not give some flowers to people in exchange for alms? He liked the idea and plucked some flowers from there. Now he went to beg on the train. Now, whenever someone gave him alms, he would give some flowers in return to the person giving them alms. People would happily keep those flowers. Now the beggar would pluck flowers every day and distribute them among people in exchange for alms. Within a few days, he realized that he no longer had much money. People started giving alms. He used to pick all the flowers near the station. As long as he had flowers, many people gave him alms. But when he ran out of flowers, he couldn't even get alms. This continued every day. One day, while begging, he saw the same tall man sitting on the train. This inspired him to give flowers instead of alms. He immediately approached the man and said, "Today I have some flowers to give you. If you give me alms, I will give you some flowers in return." The tall man gave him some money as alms, and the beggar gave him some flowers. The tall man was very impressed by the idea and said, "Wow, what a wonderful thing. Today you have become a businessman like me." With that, the tall man took the flowers and got off at his station. But the words spoken by the tall man once again touched the beggar's heart. He repeatedly thought about what the tall man had said and became very happy. His eyes began to shine. He felt that now the hand of success had found the key that could change his life. He immediately got off the train and, excited, looked up at the sky and said, "I'm not a beggar. I'm a businessman. I can become rich too." People saw him and thought the beggar had gone mad. From the next day, he was never seen at that station again. 6 months later, 2 men in suits and boots were traveling at the same station. They saw each other. One of them shook hands and asked, "Do you recognize me?" The second man said, "No, because I think this is the first time we've met." The first man said, "No, remember, this isn't the first time, but the third time." The second man said, "I don't remember when we met the first 2 times." The first man smiled and said, "We met twice before on this same train. I am the same beggar whom you told me in our first meeting what to do in life, and in our second meeting, you revealed who I really am." The second man smiled and said, surprised, "Oh, I remember. You are the same beggar whom I once refused to give alms to, and the second time I bought some flowers from you. But where are you going today in this suit and boots, and what are you doing these days?" Then the first man said, "Yes, I am the same beggar, but today I am a big flower merchant, and I am going to another city for this business." After a pause, he said again, "When we first met, you told me about the law of nature that we get something only when we give something. This law of transaction actually works. I have realized it very well, but I always considered myself a beggar. I never thought beyond that. When I met you again, you told me that I had become a businessman. Now, I understood that I was actually not a beggar, but a businessman. I understood why people were giving me so much alms. Because they were not giving me alms, they were paying for the flowers. Everyone was buying my flowers because they could not get flowers cheaper than this. I was a small businessman in people's eyes, but I was still a beggar in my own eyes. After you told me, I understood that I was a small businessman. With the money he had collected from distributing flowers on the train, he bought many flowers and became a flower merchant. The people here love flowers, and their love has made him a major flower merchant today. Both merchants were now happy. At the station, they got off together and moved on, discussing their businesses. Friends, we learn a lot from this story. In the story, the tall merchant knew very well the rule of give and take. All the world's biggest merchants have succeeded by using this rule of life. He also shared this formula with the beggar. The beggar adopted this natural rule, and its effects were clearly visible in his life. He changed his thinking, and his life changed. This story tells us that if we change our thinking, anything can be achieved. If we continue to think small, we will always remain small. To become great, we must change our thinking and think big about ourselves. The essence of the story is this. It is true that success lies in your thinking. Build your self-esteem, broaden your thinking, and see how you reach the pinnacle of success.